Well, Laura, let me put it so. Many years ago, I had another case. Me and my wife, we were accused of illegally selling land from government and basically stealing 2 point something million guilders or dollars. I don't even know what it was anymore, by the then Hilbertar with his Today newspaper. In 2011, that story caused intruders to come in my house and try to rob my wife, and in the process try to kill her. This was something that we kept to ourselves. We took the necessary precautions afterwards, and we made some necessary adjustments to security in our house. But the case continued, and in 2014, my wife challenged the prosecutor's office, either you're going to charge me or, move on. They trumped up 8 charges in total, eventually. And after all was said and done, in October 2018, we were acquitted for 7 of the 8 charges. One charge was that we committed tax fraud by filling in a form incorrectly. A form that we paid a tax consultant established on the island who was a former tax fraud inspector for the tax office in St. Martin, who came down from Holland and worked there. And when he was finished, like most of the Dutch people, they don't like to go back to Holland because they get accustomed to the sweet life in St. Martin with the sun and the sun sea. Yeah. So they want to stay around. He stuck around. He opened his own business. He was the person that advised us. He filled out the forms. He signed the forms. He handed them in for us. He did everything. We paid him for that. There was a whole trail of that. 1 week before the case, my wife's complete case file disappeared in St. Martin and in Curacao, and they told us, bring what you need. Nevertheless, that charge is now being challenged at the Supreme Court, and we were just informed yesterday that the 15th of this month, God's willing, it will come forward in the courts. So either we get a decision that day or that week or a few days afterwards. I don't know, but that's where we stand with it. Now, I said October 2018. In April 2018, we had questioned certain people, and one of them was a notary. And when the notary indicated that what the public prosecutor charged us for, and the prosecutor general was contesting in the courts of appeal, was crazy, because it's happening all over the island and there's nobody else being prosecuted for it. At that point in time, I want to believe the good gentleman knew that they were going to lose this case, because this testimony was given in front of the judge instruction. That led to a so-called new investigation started. Now, Oral, look, the landfill had a lot of problems. Let me not say no to that. But the landfill had a lot of problems prior to the local boys from Sucker Garden winning the contract. I'm accused of rigging the bid and giving it to them. A bid that is checked, not only, listen, yes, I wrote the bid. So the tender, I wrote that tender. My office does that. That tender was checked and approved by the Council of Ministers, then under Prime Minister Marcel Gums, because they had a lot to say about it. There's a lot of memos concerning such. When the tender was done, the tender went to my boss, the SG of Romy. He approved it. Then it went to the financial controller. She approved it. Then it went up to the Minister of Romy and the Finance Department. They approved it. Then it went to the Council of Ministers. They approved it. Then it went to the governor. He reviewed it and approved it. And it was granted. Miraculously, I controlled everybody in that circle because I manipulated the tender. I mean, how far you want to stretch the truth? I don't have a problem with you doing your investigation, because that's your right, that's your job. But what I do have a problem with is when you have systemic abuse of power, when prosecutors can go as far as they so desire. I was not investigated as a civil servant by the federal detectives, the national detectives, which is the norm. No, I was investigated by the TBO with a prosecutor out of Curacao. Now, again, the law states different, especially when it comes to using the TBO. There's a law for that. Absolutely no adherence was given to that. They do as they desire. You could remember some time back they had a case where they found the judges and the prosecutors and everybody were having dinner at a restaurant.
Yeah.
That case continued. Any place else in the world, that case would have been thrown out and disciplinary actions would have been taken against all involved. It doesn't happen here. I wrote a piece where at least 10 prosecutors were involved in St. Martin in wrongdoings. Not one was disciplined. They are just put back on a plane, sent back to their country of origin, and they go back and practice up there. That systemic abuse has to stop. You cannot be doing these type of things. Now, I could start a vendetta, but they are bigger than me, and eventually they hope to be able to quelch me, shut me down, that I can't say nothing, I can't do nothing, or hope that I run out of money and I can't continue paying the lawyer to defend me. That's their hope. Well, I can tell them don't hope too long. I'm going to start a GoFund just now to help me pay against the abuse, because I am not the only one. The difference between me and a lot of people is I sit in Parliament and I'm going to use what is happening to me to my advantage to review the laws that are there on the books or the new ones to see how they can be adjusted. So at least in the future, people will not have to suffer from the systemic abuse that we have right now, because it is an abuse. When you have far-reaching powers, sweeping powers to do what you feel like doing, because when you reach in front of the judges, it's okay, we got a problem. So I will deal with it in the courts.